Hello, dogs. Lildawg right here, right now. And welcome back to Magical Eye, Red is for Anguish. Now, I thought about this a little bit, and I've decided I'm going to do all of the side scenarios along with the main scenario. So that means I'm going to go to Chiharu's apartment first. Chiharu's apartment, the 5-story condominium named Voyelacte that sits in the residential zone. Each room is designed for 1 or 2 people to live in. Chiharu resides in room 301 on her own for family reasons. Chiharu's side. Okay, so we're gonna be someone else for this one. Fiddling the TV remote in my hand, I have been deep in a musing mood on the soft sofa. Why in the world does Golden Week even exist? Saturdays, Sundays, and public holidays are already a big pain in the neck for me. The annual long vacation is even worse. If every day were a weekday, I'd get to go to school every day. It's not like I have a thing for going to school. Actually, considering that I avoid crowds, it should be a place I'd rather stay away from. Then why do I wish I could go to school every single day? Because it's the only place where I could see a certain someone. Actually, if there were some other place where I could do the same, I wouldn't hesitate for a second to leave school right away. I look up to see the clock say it's nearly 6 p.m. Since I got home and dove into the sofa, it's been an hour and a half. My school uniform must have plenty of wrinkles by now. I know I should change, but meh, whatever. I don't have any motivation to do anything right now. Me. That's just me sometimes. I'm too happy. This is all his fault. Sure, if my plans changed, I'd be happy to. I know no one except for me would recognize that as anything special. But since I've been looking at him longer than anyone else, I'm able to realize how much it's really worth. In terms of relationships with others, the one I'm in love with appears to have a line set over which he doesn't let anyone cross, at least at school. I got me some tea, by the way, which is normally something I don't drink while recording. I have an idea why he's like that, and I highly doubt I've misunderstood. Due to knowing about that line, I've been insistently struggling to cross it. I've lost count of how many times I've failed, but I've never given up. What happened back at the school gate was another attempt. Since last night, I've done simulations over and over again, and in every one of those, my attempt ended in failure, and the same should have happened in real life as well. I had braced myself for his refusal by asking him for something that can't be done. I was expecting a twinge of pain and yet some glee over the fact I got to talk to him. The short walk I took with him after school was going to be the routine I went through countless times. However, the very last few seconds were nowhere near anything in the past. Sigh. Sigh again. Unlike sighs that drain your strength away from you, the ones I let out give me a warm, floaty feeling. Boy, why no school tomorrow? What a living hell it is that I'll have to spend the day off alone with this feeling. This is exactly like when a funny movie you're watching is about to come to its climax, but the next thing you see is an announcement of its sequel. I hate it when things do that. And I heard that there is a sequel of this in the making, so if this game does that, I'm gonna be pretty pissed. I feel like I'm stuck in limbo. But then again, without Golden Week, you wouldn't have said that to begin with. I know I'm being contradictory, but since it comes from the heart, there's nothing I can do about it. I suppress the grin that tries to cover my face when I let my mind drift. The long vacation is almost here, but it's lucky that I'll get to see him in 2 days. On the other hand, that's the only day before the break that I have a chance to talk to him, but now's not the time to worry about that. I have the promise that will make it easier to begin a conversation with him. I watched that DVD only because I assumed he'd probably like it, but that effort really paid off. As always, I'm going to talk with him for as long as possible while making sure I'm not pestering him or coming across as too forceful. Now that I've set my next goal, I think I'll formulate my strategy for that day while cooking dinner. I was supposed to stop by a supermarket to buy some food for today. Oh well, I guess I'll go eat out tonight. It's probably been months since the last time. I don't really like eating out, but today I don't mind. I'm pretty sure whatever I eat, I'll be too happy to care about how it tastes. Alright! So we've just looked at how Chiharu thinks about you. A wooden Japanese bungalow standing in the nearly center of the residential area where plenty of old mansions can be found. The main house in a detached building sits on the relatively large land. You uses one of the rooms in the detached building. And we're back to you. After finishing a slightly early dinner, I get myself ready to go on my daily patrol through my district. I have also have the option to take a day off to rest to recover from the fatigue and damage of last night's fight, but that can put me at a greater risk in the long run. Any illness should be discovered and dealt with sooner rather than later. Most importantly, I skipped yesterday's patrol because I was completely dedicated to the case. If I skip again, then it will be 2 days in a row. I should avoid letting that happen. Alright. Giving a jolt to my exhausted body, I put on an outdoor jacket and head out. Walking out the entrance, I am welcomed by the surprisingly chilly air outside. One of my main purposes for patrolling is to help my stomach digest what I eat at dinner. The variants, especially those which require immediate action, spread a distinctly strange atmosphere around them. The strangeness is so apparent that even I, with my weak senses, can detect it. Because of that, I don't need to be as alert as a police officer on lookout for prowlers. I have at least enough room to admire the surrounding view. In the western sky, the sunset is merging with the night, as if in the middle of two paints being blended on a palette. Looking at the color of the faint orange that the sun leaves behind as its last vestige, I descend a gentle slope extending to the station. Okay, one thing I kind of want to ask before... One thing I'm thinking of is, what do the variants have to do with the story at the beginning of the series? Like, if you didn't watch episode 1, go back. There was like an introduction before the actual game started, telling a story about a little girl and her turning into a monster. What does that story... Does that have any connection to the variants? Just wondering. That's probably going to be answered at some point. I walk past all kinds of people on my way. A middle-aged businessman in a worn-out suit. A pair of bubbly high school girls chattering away. A little boy riding his bike up the slope. Figures that can be seen in this town every day. For them, no day is ever the same. But when it comes to the city itself, there's a certain thing that doesn't change. It's that most of the residents get to finish off the day at peace and start the morning as though for granted. I like to watch the boring scenery of this kind. even if plenty of the individuals in it are bearing misfortune on their shoulders. It makes my day if doing what I'm supposed to helps sustain that boringness. In fact, I believe that I'm doing enough work to feel proud of myself without putting on airs. I'm not trying to show myself off as some kind of ally of justice. Actually, I have an ulterior motive, and that is, when I walk past a lady with long black hair at the bottom of the slope, I recall a certain other girl who is an untouchable symbol of everyday life. I remind myself of her running off under the blue sky. Thanks to her, I've been able to spend the day with this exhilarating feeling that I haven't had for a long time. I feel it's okay for me to make a wish for her. May she be spending this very time of the day in calm and peace. Okay. Question mark. What? Huh? One summer day. A plain hospital room with beige walls. 3 years have been long enough to engrave the surrounding view into the girl's memory. No matter the hour or season, regardless of the weather, the scenery never changes for her. The only people who come into this room are the girl's parents, grandmother, and hospital staff. Despite signs of rain, today she is able to walk around without her body suffering. Usually on rainy days, she feels a sickening sense of oppression she has to put up with. When she's in good shape, going shopping... Oh, this is, This is from the, introduction. Or, not the introduction, when I first began the game, it talked about a girl somebody visiting a hospital. When she's in good shape, going shopping in the hospital shop on the first floor is her favorite thing to do. She's given a 300 yen allowance for each visit, and that is her only chance to choose what she wants of her own will. For her, these brief opportunities to free herself from day-to-day boredom are far more valuable than that small amount of money. So we finally get to see what goes on with this, girl in the hospital. What's even better is that today she has 1,000 yen as a reward for making it through the medical examinations that took up her entire day yesterday. She was too impatient to wait for her grandmother, the sitter, to come back from the ladies' room and ask for permission to go ahead and take the elevator down to the first floor. She's so eager that the elevator's descent seems to take an eternity. The elevator, indifferent to her impatience, rings a bell and opens its doors when it finally arrives on the designated floor. She takes off running, but unfortunately, she bumps into someone and falls on her bottom. Ow! The opposite person seems to have taken a big tumble. She raises her face and finds a boy whose right arm and leg are plastered in light blue casts. There's no way he could have kept his balance in a state like that. Feeling guilty about running into him so carelessly, she quickly reaches the decision to apologize to him. However, due to her lack of experience communicating with other people and her panic check if he's okay, she forgets to even get to her feet. Are you okay? Does it hurt anywhere? For a moment, she can't understand the words directed to her. She was the one who had started running recklessly and pushing over this injured boy. And yet, the boy, seemingly around the same age as her, just as she herself was fine. As she's worriedly staring at his face in silence, he grows too embarrassed and gives her a bashful smile. Is there something funny on my face? He asks her. This is the instant she made friends with someone her own age for the first time in her entire life. Hold on. Was that Chiharu and you meeting for the first time? Could that be it? Alright, we're headed back to Yu's room. I think that may have been Chiharu and Yu's first meeting. I could also be wrong. The blurring ringtone throws my concentration off. After finishing my late breakfast, I've been reading the novel that I bought yesterday. Apparently, it's already been an hour. The phone screen displays the number and the name of the detective that I've known for years. The fact that a high schooler has been acquainted with a detective for that long may sound like there's something rough between them, but of course he's not calling my student self. Assuring myself that I have no idea why he's calling, I press the answer button. Hello? Is this Amakawa? An unusual way to start a phone conversation. When you call someone on their mobile, you should already know their identity. It implies that what he has to say will be something nobody else should know. Yes, Amakawa speaking. Can we meet up today? You need my help for your work? Not quite. I just want your advice about something hard to discuss over the phone. Is it urgent? Whatever time is fine if it's today. Low urgency. But it's not something irrelevant either, right? Otherwise, I wouldn't have called you, kid. I had another engagement booked for a little before noon, but I should probably give this priority. I feel bad having to back out since we'd been planning it for a while, but I'm sure they'll understand when I explain. You got it. I'll be right over. Thanks. Actually, I owe you one from the end of last year. As a matter of fact, that's what I was hoping to hear. Time and place? Usual spot in an hour, if that's good. No problem. Alright then. Give me a call when you're around there. Got it. He hangs up so quick. This is kind of funny, though. It was just a joke, but one of my octopus arms is already reserved. If this keeps up, I can easily foresee that none of them will be left for Ogawa during the break. Wait, what am I thinking? From the beginning, there was no chance I'd be able to make any time for her. Feeling stupid for being conflicted, I pick up the book from the floor to put in a bookmark and snap it close. Oh, hold on, let me read this. Station Front Shopping District, the shopping district on the south side of Murazuka Station. It is slightly large for a shopping district. You can find not only basic foods and daily essentials, but ornaments and various kinds of tea and cigarettes here. Alright. Chiharu side. Oh, we're going... Ever since yesterday, footage with quality so high it could be digitally recorded has been on auto repeat in my head, continuing even now as I wait for the traffic light to change. And in my mind, my own exhilaration has been generating the sound of fireworks. Sure, if any plans change, I'd be happy to. Each time I remember that line, my heart beats faster. Last night, I'd sigh almost 100 times in between when I got to bed and when I fell asleep. And as that sleepless night went by, the radio started to play a tune that Amakawa might like. I quickly decided that I needed to search online to get details on it. Before I knew it, I typed the series of Amakawa Yu in the search bar. I really want to see him. In order to cool down my mental overheating, I've bothered to come all the way downtown, but it doesn't seem to be helping at all. I've already given up on holding back the smirks that keep appearing and bitten on my face. I really need to at least buy the CD before going home, otherwise the outing will have been totally pointless. A silly sound brings me back into reality and notice the traffic light is now green. I set off on foot slightly behind the other pedestrians. Even though it's the first day of vacation, this area doesn't seem any more crowded than usual. Maybe this public holiday lasting so long makes a lot of people want to travel. Works for me since I'm not a big fan of crowds. I can walk around more light-footedly in this. As I look about at random stuff, my eyes catch on a sign at the entrance of an independent theater. Couple Thursdays, only 2,000 yen for couples. The part that draws my attention is the word couples, not the discounted price. Can't believe I get get so caught up on these little things. It's all because of that wonderful phrase Amakawa gave me. I can never get rid of my expectations and feelings that something could happen between him and me, no matter how hard I try. I might be able to spend a vacation with him. To my knowledge, he appears to avoid crowds as much as I do, or maybe even more. And that's why seeing a movie hasn't been an option for the two of us. Most people would think of those cinema complexes near the station when they want to see movies. I think I know what a cinema complex is. I'm sure he wouldn't want to go there. But what would he think about this small theater? I feel like its chance of success is pretty low, but it's not zero. Yeah, this should be worth considering. When it comes to him and chances are not zero, I don't care how mentally demanding and time-consuming it is. The same logic applies to the CD. I doubt just one single CD is going to largely change anything. But it could be a good conversation opener, and that's the only reason I've shown up down here. Music shop metal tape. Someone calls out to me as I'm about to enter the shop that's my destination. Excuse me, could I have a little of your time, please? Turn my eyes to the owner of the voice and find a boy standing there. Well, what can I do for you? I have a question to ask. The boy has a spirited face and his short hairstyle accompanies it carefully. I guess he's in his last year of elementary school, or maybe his junior high. Okay, what is it? Have you seen a girl my height with her hair tied at 2 points like this? He puts his hands on his head, mimicking the girl's tied hair. You're looking for a girl with twin pigtails? Yes, I was hanging out with her, but the next thing I know, I was up by myself. Grasp the situation now. He's spoken to me to see if I know anything about his companion. Since the boy's wearing a very serious look on his face, she must have gotten lost. Have you seen anyone like her? Girl with twin tails. Might have seen someone like that, but can't remember where. To begin with, it's highly improbable that someone who just arrived in downtown like me encountered her. Ah! Suddenly have a flashback of two swinging pigtails, and that was when Do you remember something? Yeah, I think I saw her around a movie theater. A movie theater? You mean the one at the end of the street? That's right. She should have been somewhere near the theater. I can't say for sure because I was busy thinking about stuff, especially Amakawa. If you could tell me more about her, then I could picture her more clearly. No, I think you told me enough. The theater sounds about right. He now appears to be extremely restless, as though telling me to let him go so he can get back to her as quick as possible. Seems to be assured by my input of the movie theater. Thank you very much for your help. My pleasure. My apologies for suddenly holding you back here. With a small bow, he dashes off and he immediately turns into a small dot, which proves how desperate he is to find her. They were in the middle of a date, I guess? Children like him are too young to really date, but the way he was struggling for his girlfriend gives me an idea. I imagine the two of them walking down the street alongside each other. Yeah, that seems right. Him talking to her in that mature way he did earlier, and her answering yes with a nod. While having fun, that silly little mental exercise of mine and feeling a sense of envy, I turn around and face the shop's entrance again. Oh! Huh. So, this is the first time we're exploring different areas. Business District, a square located in between office buildings. This is a place of relief many of office workers around, who spend their recess and lunchtime here. U side. In solidarity with the surrounding office buildings and the work people in them, this public space also seems to be on vacation. Normally the space is abundant with suits, but today there are a few people around and time is passing by leisurely. I recognize a person puffing a cigar on a backless bench gazing up at the sky. He is likely to be mistaken for one of those businessmen working nearby due to his outfit and the spaced out look on his face. But if you're observant and close enough, you'll see that the impression is wrong. He has this particular aura of always being on guard. I don't think this will count as evident, but he can notice me approaching even though I happen to come down from behind him. While people are crazy over the holidays, I'm feeling unbelievably blah. His voice sounds languid but familiar. This feels as blah as when a restaurant waitress forgets your order for the last 30 minutes explaining to you, "Oh snap, I messed up. Tee." That sounds blah indeed. You know, it's not blah. This tea, and I'm almost out. We haven't seen each other in person since New Year's, have we? That's about right. How you been, kid? Still shaking the money tree? Is that sarcasm? Half of it. The other half is consolidation for both you and me for doing these unrewarding jobs. Funeral service providers, police officers, and the Amikawas. It's better when they have little to do. He shrugs his shoulders as though joking and shoots me a gaze suggesting I should sit. Couldn't tell from behind, but I noticed he looks somewhat more haggard than usual. You're looking pale, Azuma. Okay, let's read about Azuma. His full name is Azuma Toichiru. He's an assistant inspector of the 1st Division of the Criminal Investigation Department. He worked with Amikawas for a case, and they have had trust in each other ever since. He is one of the police who are allowed to cooperate with the organization to which you belongs to. You bet. I was going through some documents on a peculiar dead body a while ago. You want to hear more about it? I'll pass. I seriously considered quitting the job. I mean, I'm considering that all the time. But still, that bad? Yeah, feels like every moment is Monday morning. No, I mean the dead body, not your will of resignation. Oh, alright, that. To be honest, I ate twice cooked pork this morning, and it's still about to escape. Twice cooked pork is a Sichuan-style Chinese dish prepared by slicing and stir-frying pork, vegetables, and doubanjiang. The word twice refers to returning once-cooked ingredients into the wok and cooking them again. The dish goes pretty well with white rice. This is no more than the writer's opinion. What a greasy cuisine you picked for breakfast. I chose it to restore the stamina consumed during the all-nighter, but I ended up placing additional strain on my innards. It's so ironic. 'Cause meat's full of iron. The joke isn't funny. Knock the smug off, would you? I don't get it. Plus, can we start on our topic for today before your jokes wear me out? I'll try my best. He held his hand over his mouth, for assumingly quite unwell. Alright, let's get down to bedrock. While still wearing a worn-out expression, his eyes are now as sharp as those of a cop. Since there's no evidence, I can't guarantee it has something to do with you guys. That's unusually roundabout for you. I need you to understand that's how tangled this situation is. You may already be aware of this, but there's an unusual increase in the number of crimes around this year. Have you heard of that? I shake my head in denial. How unusual is it? As of the end of April, it's clearly over half of last year's. Only 4 months to surpass half of last year's numbers? Huh. Half as many again. Quick math. Half as many again? Actually, it doesn't say much to someone non-professional like myself. You think you're non-professional? That's a nice one. I'm a total amateur when it comes to regular crime. Well, I'll let that pass for now. Simply put, an increase of 10 to 20% will make most of the city folk feel unsafe in town. So if it's increased by half, the number is enormous. Is there any chance of accidental error? I'm not no statistician, so I can't say anything concrete. Is it a stretch to consider they could be imaginary and coincidental? I would be too frightened to go out on days off, if you ask me. I think you're play acting a hard-boiled cop. Not just this fake hard-boiled cop, but a veteran expressed the same opinion about the extraordinarius. He's been on the force for years. If that's the case, there must be rumors going around in town, right? More like I'd say it'd be weird if there aren't any, but I haven't heard anything so far. Already much discussed among those sensitive to that sort of topic. which means that those in charge on my side must have seized some intelligence on it. Since nothing has been shared with me, maybe there's no connection to my side, at least not yet. The mass media started getting curious enough to look into it. But so far, the best they've come up with is cheap articles blaming us for being sluggish. In other words, the cause is still unknown. Unknown cause. No leads whatsoever. So clueless, I even hope the media does find out something. So even the police are grasping at straws at the moment. And what am I going to tell you now is the crux of the matter. I believe this is partly because most people don't know anything about it, but a vast majority of the crimes happened this month. What? From January through last month, the number of crimes was drifting upward about 20 or 30% more than usual. But for the past month, the count's been growing twice as fast as ordinary. Twice? Yeah, but it's not every kind of crime, it seems. While murders increased slightly, theft and mugging rates have almost tripled. 3 times more. However unaware I am of that field, that rate does make me understand what a bizarre situation the city is currently in. Which is to say, things are happening too quickly for people to have picked it up as a talking point yet. So it's just a matter of time until everyone knows about it. Thanks to that, I've hardly slept the past few days. I haven't even looked at a single page of the photo collection of... Okay. A type of bird that can be found in a large portion of the world from Europe and Central Asia to Japan. It is a small bird with a long tail. They're also cute. It's merely the white writer's distorted image of the bird. A collection of long-tailed tits that I purchased last week. Kid, do you have any idea how adorable the little bird called long-tailed tit is called? If it's for the sake of protecting them, I'd be happy to oppose the whole human race. As a policeman, you're supposed to protect the human race. Well, since every part of every department at the station house is slaving away, I guess I've got to grit my teeth and hang in there. Basically, if the amount of crimes doubled, twice as much manpower is required to handle them. If a situation like that has really been lasting for a month, the police force is probably in pretty bad shape. This is no more than my guess, but we're facing all this because something that was below the surface all along blasted off early this month. Something? We have no clue what is going on and how big the scale is. Truth be told, we're totally stuck. Gives me a weary smile, but I can see his eyes are filled with determination. I'm not sure if this could be related in any way, but the amount of traffic accidents has increased as well. Also twice as many? Now, no specific figures are available yet, but as far as I can see from how tired the traffic cops look, they should be in the same jam as us. Not just incidents, but even accidents? Now you don't feel this is something that belongs to you guys? Have the police had any contact from anyone from above? Not that I know of, but it's pretty hard to think of this as just a regular phenomenon, don't you think? In other words, you think that something beyond the ordinary has something to do with this. Can you elaborate on that? I mean to, but I don't expect a lot from me. I truly have little to share. He then lights his second cigar. Huh. Alright then. I'm gonna actually leave this one off here. This interesting so far. Interesting. I have a lot of questions going through my head about what's going on, like the whole hospital ordeal. So, I'll hopefully see you on the next episode. Bye-bye.